Three, two, one. Ahoy, Malloy, mateys! Welcome to Talking in Teacups, Corona Edition, the serious topic show with not so serious people. I'm your host, D Cypher. Joined alongside me is your co-host, Lawrence.
What?
We also have two special guests joining us on tonight's episode. We got Toxic in the building,
Hello.
and we also have Ace the Great.
How you doing, guys?
And we got Baby Aurora just in the background. Lawrence, it's good to be here with you today.
Yeah, it's good to be here on my show, which I host.
Okay. Toxic, it's good to be here with you today.
It's great to be here.
Alright. Ace, it's good to be here with you today.
Yep, same old, same old.
Alright, so let's get some housekeeping out of the way. If you didn't know, you could follow us on Twitter and Instagram at CypherSpitGaming, that's with 1G. And if you want to support the channel, you can go to patreon.com/CypherSpitGaming, and there are different tiers for you to support the channel that way. And if you can't, that's okay. You can watch for free on YouTube. We have a live podcast every Sunday at 7, and that's it. So, our first segment is A Baker's Dozen. Let's go jump right into the first news story. PS5 games will be cross-gen for some time, but there aren't going to be PS4 games that are coming out after the PS5 launches. So PS5 games are going to be cross-generational. So what I'm saying is the first year of PS5 is going to be games that are for both PS4 and PS5. I said that really weird just now. And then probably year 2 of PS5 is when you're going to be PS5 exclusive games, which is typical. Like when PS4 first came out, I think Watch Dogs was on both systems, Madden was on both systems, Call of Duty, which Call of Duty we were on, Ghost was on both systems. So that's typically how they do it. But I'm not necessarily in a rush to get a PS5, but it's kind of cool that they're, doing it.
I'm getting PS5.
You gonna get it like in November when it drops, or you gonna wait?
Probably in November.
Damn, you're gonna be on it. I'm coming to your house.
I already have my money set aside for it though, so.
I hope you set aside $700.
700? Oh,
No,
they're
that's
gonna kiss my
yeah,
balls for that.
that's a joke. That's a joke. It's probably gonna be like 5. In all
I can do
honesty,
5.
yeah. In all honesty, 450 is that sweet spot, but ending at a 50 is weird. So just make it 500. Take our money. Take our money. What about you, Toxic and Ace? What are y'all thinking about this?
Nope, not for me.
I'm not in a rush.
I have enough of PS4.
PS4 has such a huge library of games to play. Speaking of PS4 and their huge library, speaking of PS4 and their huge library, this news story is for last week, but we missed our episode. PS Plus games for May have been announced, and they are what is it? Cities, Skylines, and
Yeah.
Farming Simulator. Yeah, 2 simulation games in 1 month. Usually they switch it up and do 2 separate games. What are your thoughts on May's 2020 PS Plus titles?
Um,
I
Crapola.
wasn't the biggest fan of them.
I'm a fan of City Skylines, but I already had it, so it's like, damn, I already got this game. And then Farming Simulator, I'm just like, not for me. Not for me.
I'm not gonna bash the game saying they're bad. It's just, they're not my taste.
Not my cup of tea. Well, FIFA's bad. Everybody knows FIFA's bad. You could bash more than Odyssey because there was complaints that Assassin's Creed Odyssey was too long for its own good. They said there was a lot of padding going on, and the story just dragged on and on. So now they're cutting back on some of that story, so that way people won't be like,
I
"Oh
couldn't
my
hear
goodness."
you
You couldn't hear me?
for a long time. Could you guys hear me?
Oh no, we couldn't hear you. I didn't think you were talking.
Oh crap, sorry.
But also, did you know that Assassin's Creed is going to be cross-play, or smart delivery, meaning it's going to be on both PS4 and PS5, along with Xbox One and Xbox Series X. Series X. Well, as a tongue twister. They love their crazy titles. You'll be able to dual wield in the game. You'll be able to control a ship. You can play as a male or a female. You can get tattoos. shields are making a return. I thought they had shields in the game already, but apparently they took shields out. So how are you? What'd you say?
I said my daughter's going through it right now.
Oh. Would you, just mute yourself? Like, take your mic out? Oh no, if you take your mic out and put it back in, that'll probably mess it up for the stream. So you can't even do that. Well, anyway, I'll just press along. So yeah, that's Assassin's Creed. You can like attack forts and stuff while you're on ship. And some political news: Joe Biden, he publicly has denied the sexual assault allegations that are being levied against him.
He did it.
I mean, people are thinking that he may have, and then some people think that even if he did, Trump also did his things too. So by mentioning Joe Biden's sexual assault allegations, you got to go back and say, well, hold on, we're not going to just act like Joe Biden, the only one who had sexual assault allegations, when Trump was infamous for saying, let's just grab him by the, you know,
What?
grab him by the pum pum,
The what?
the pum pum. Yeah. Speaking of people who, you know, had some allegations levied against him, Tekashi 69 was released from jail early, and he's already been doing some trolling. I did not catch, this again was from last week, I did not catch his new single that he just dropped, or his video that he dropped along with it, but
It
he
was
had,
trash.
it was trash? Oh. Was it on par to what he already puts out, or was it trash
Nah,
because
he
it
needs
was,
to make hyper music than that.
oh, okay. But yeah, this is him coming back. I didn't see it, so this is a good review of it. He says it was trash. So if it was trash, it was trash. But yeah, Tekashi 69's out. He got out of jail. He snitched on all these people, and they let him out. Still, that is hilarious. That's our justice system for you folks, doing its
That
job.
is our justice system.
Yeah, doing its job.
That is doing his job.
letting people go free.
They should let people go free when they turn to other criminals.
Even though he was the kingpin himself.
He wasn't the kingpin. He was just the money.
He was also telling people to put out hits on other people, like a true kingpin. And then when he got caught, he snitched on his boys. He said, "You know what? I'm not going to take this sentence. You gotta get me out of here. I'll tell you about everybody." And then he started snitching on people that he didn't even need to snitch on. So that was funny too.
That sounds like a whole mess of a situation right there.
Yeah, it's a funny situation too. So also, there are rumors that the Xbox Series X, going back to video games, is going to be more powerful than the PS5, and the PS5 won't natively support ray tracing. So they'll do like some knockoff thing, like how at first the PS4 didn't support 4K natively and they had to do upscaling and all these other little tricks just to get to 4K. So the Xbox, allegedly, Series X is going to be more powerful. Again, Sony's been really quiet as far as details go, like what they're putting in the system and if it's going to support ray tracing. We know that it's going to have an SSD. Both systems are going to have SSDs, which for those people who you're probably listening and thinking, okay, well, what's an SSD mean? Basically, the loading times are going to be blazing fast, lightning fast loading times, and that's cool and all. And, you know, ray tracing is cool and all, but I mean, at this point, I need to see some higher frames. I need every game to come 60 or, you know, go home. Like, don't even get on my system if you're not going to be 60 frames. But ray tracing is cool to have. Have you seen any videos of ray tracing? Anybody in this podcast?
I haven't.
Nope.
So Battlefield 1, whatever the most recent Battlefield is, I don't know what they call it. Battlefield 1, Battlefield 1942, whatever. That one has a great video of ray tracing. It basically gives you realistic reflections because it's using, or it's simulating, I would say it's using the sun. It's simulating the sun and its rays. That's what ray tracing is. So it gives you realistic reflection on guns, mirrors, your, damn, what else is reflective? Anything else that's reflective. I was trying to think of other things that are reflective. So that's not just for shooting games though. On Minecraft, the different blocks, like the ones that are translucent, like glass blocks, you can see them and it just looks so much more realistic. Oh, so does the water too. I believe on regular Minecraft the water's kind of muddy looking. So with ray tracing on, or RTX for short, then yeah, the water looks really good, and like the game looks almost like a completely different game. So those are the two examples right there. That's what ray tracing is going to be able to do, and then as I said, SSD is going to turn that. How long it takes to turn on the PS4 when you first turn it on? 2 minutes now, maybe. Like not rest mode though. I'm talking about completely powered off. How long you think it takes? What's the boot time for a PS4?
Probably a minute 30.
Yeah, so now we're talking about hopefully 30 seconds at this point. Because with a computer, if you have ray tracing, I'm sorry, not ray, if you have an SSD or you have your operating system on your SSD, your thing boots up super quick, which is why, a gaming PC is where it's at, but PS4, or sorry, PS5 and Xbox Series X is going to be the closest thing that most people will be able to get to that. So, welcome to 2010 consoles. You guys are so late to get this because PCs have been using SSDs since 2010. But that's fine. That's, the nature of the beast. PC's always going to be ahead anyway.
Well, I mean, with PCs, they're incredibly customizable. So Sony and Xbox, they're always going to be behind no matter what they do, unless, well, yeah, no, they'll always be behind.
It was like, yeah, you
I
have a
don't think
chance, but then, nah, you don't get a chance.
well, because no matter what, because once the system's already out, they can't add anything to it. They can release another system that's better than the original.
And
But with
even
PCs, there's like new things coming out every year.
Yeah,
New
every
things come
year.
out.
And then the other thing with consoles, even though these consoles aren't coming out until 2020, they've been done since at least 2019. So whatever technology came out in 2019, they couldn't even update it because they already had it, the design planned and bought. They bought the chipsets since 2018. I'm sorry, I meant to say. So 2019 was them just like, all right, here's the hints of what we're doing. 2018, they finalized, okay, I don't remember the names, but let's just say AMD put this chip out for us. So whatever chip was the hottest chip in 2018, which was probably a 2019 chip, that's what they got. But then 2019 came and gone. They had a new chip. 2020, well, nothing came out just because of Corona. But imagine, whatever comes out in 2020 or 2021 is already going to be way ahead of it. Or not way ahead of it. I didn't mean to say way ahead of it, but it's going to be ahead of it, not way ahead of it, just ahead of it. That, and then, like I said, that's the nature of the beast, and you don't get to worry about, a driver breaking or something like that. They're a little bit more sturdy. If you get what I'm saying, not like a PC is a fucking Lego set that's gonna break as soon as you knock it over. But oh, I dropped my PC. Yo, imagine like going to a game store, like I dropped my PC, can I get a replacement? PCs are super expensive.
Well, I mean, besides the stuff that's inside of a console, they are a pretty good alternative for if you want to get into gaming, but not PC gaming because you're afraid to rush in or you don't understand everything. So consoles are pretty good. Just they won't be as good as a PC, but they're just they're pretty good.
And speaking of people who are intimidated by games, Nintendo Switch has been doing a great job this console generation. Their console released in 2017, the Nintendo Switch, and I just want to give it props for delivering on. You can play it in your hand and you can play it like on the TV, and the games aren't that bad. They're not bad at all, in my opinion. So I just want to give Nintendo a quick shout out. My gripe with Nintendo, and it's not really that much of a gripe, but like the one thing I want to mention about Nintendo, because they have a closed off ecosystem and they use cartridges and not disc based media, their games are always always more expensive. That doesn't make sense English wise, but the games cost more than a CD based game would, and they don't go down in price. That's my only gripe, but that's not really that bad or something to complain about. That's just how it is. And that's what they chose. That's the medium that they chose. They chose to do cartridges. But I'm impressed that they can fit all the stuff that they do fit on a cartridge, because you see almost all games come to the Switch. Almost. Did Destiny come to the Switch yet? I don't think so. I know they were talking about it for a long time.
I don't believe. I know that some games like Friday the 13th and Mortal Kombat 11 came to the Switch, but
Shout out to them for that, for putting Mortal Kombat on
honestly, I
there.
was kind of surprised because usually
I say
Nintendo's all
2K is on the
family-friendly
Switch.
content.
They gotta have Madden then. I would assume if they got 2K, not that they made by the same people, but sports games. That means that's possible. And also, like the little, not the little brother in the room, but the other guy in the room, that Google Stadia. I don't really have much to say about Google Stadia because they make you buy your games again, which is fine. That's their choice. That's their prerogative. But to me, it feels like I don't want to buy my games a second time just to play them anywhere. I love the idea of the Stadia. I just don't love the idea of buying my games another time. Like, come on. They got Rise of the Tomb Raider on there. Destiny 2, obviously, but that's free. Who cares? And they got a bunch of other games now, but not a lot. They don't have a lot of games. So that's the one other thing you could say about Stadia is they don't have a lot of games. But you
I
get
was
the
never really interested in Stadia.
yeah, you get the opportunity to play wherever. Well, I just like the fact that I could probably play them like at work or whatever. So that's pretty cool.
I mean,
Everybody that
yeah,
comes
the
out with a
internet.
game now needs a gimmick. If you're not
Yeah.
Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft, you need a gimmick.
I mean, those are the three big dogs besides PC gaming.
Yeah.
The PC isn't really a. You could build your
Yeah,
own
I
PC.
know.
You can't build your own PlayStation.
Oh yeah, I know, I know. I'm just saying, like, PC, PS4, Nintendo, and Xbox are like anyone who tries to compete with them most likely isn't going to do that well,
Mm.
unless unless you have money or, like Lauren said, a gimmick.
Well, speaking of like major consoles, did you guys hear about the Last of Us 2 leaks? The Last of Us Part 2, there were some leaks on the gameplay. So the way the hackers got in, they used source code from an earlier version of the game to hack themselves in and then get at least an hour and 30 minutes worth of story content. I'm not going to go into
Damn.
any details, yeah, but people were trying to spin the story to say that, oh, the leakers worked at Naughty Dog and they were leaking the game to protest, and then that's when Sony put out a statement and say, no, no, we found the actual hackers that did it. It wasn't people who worked for the company trying to protest. And they said we weren't making them work. Like everybody's fearing, like, oh, they're making them crunch because Rockstar got in trouble for making the Red Dead Redemption 2 people crunch to put out the game, even though it took them 8 years. But whatever, now we're not going to get into all that. They said, yeah, no, we're actually paying them like holiday pay, extra pay, and not making them come into the office to work. So all that stuff is false. People just want to tell a story. They're trying to sensationalize it. But that's crazy. And I was on the IGN like comments, and that's when they spoiled a part of the story for me. I already forgot it now, thank God. But I was like, oh, you bastard! Like you go in the comment and somebody types in Snape killed Dumbledore, and you're like, what, you bastard? I'm like,
They
oh,
did what?
yeah, exactly. Don't worry, that's a 12-year-old film now. It's like that's not 12. Jesus, imagine when Harry Potter, the what is it called? Which one was that?
That's the Half Blood Prince.
Half-Blood Prince becomes 12 years old. I don't even know how many years old it is, but imagine when it's that old. You're gonna be like, Jesus, this movie's old. But anyway, so there's no E3 that got canceled, but Jeff Keighley is hosting a summer game fest. So it's basically going to run from May up until August, where developers and publishers can still announce games and do all kinds of stuff. Because June is usually where we're supposed to have all the game announcements. That's why in May or in this month we had the Xbox. I don't remember what they called it, Xbox Insider, where there was supposed to be gameplay and it wasn't really that much gameplay. And people were complaining. Yeah, yeah, whatever. Did you guys watch that, the Xbox event?
I did not. I don't play Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, but they show games that were multi-plat too. Like they showed Dirt 5, they showed Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed is where the controversy really started because they said before, any trailer came on, they said, "Yeah, this is all about gameplay. We're going to show all gameplay." And some of the games were gameplay, some of them were mostly just like this is a cutscene using in-engine graphics, but not necessarily gameplay where you can see a health bar and stuff. So you would see some fighting, but it's highly choreographed. So people were complaining because that's just what the internet's all about, complaining like, oh, it wasn't really gameplay. Like technically it is, but I can see where they're coming from. Like, yeah, this doesn't show me how the game's gonna be. The game's not gonna be this cinematic. The camera's not gonna be positioned there. But yeah, that was what happened with that Xbox game event. So that's pretty cool. And then the last news story I have that's not game related. I mean, it's the last news story too, but I had to switch it up to not be so game related. A former bodyguard of Ellen DeGeneres said that at the 2014 Oscars, she was not so nice. They said she was pretty cold. So they accused her of being a cold person because some other people who she had on the show recently were saying how, behind the cameras or is behind the scenes and when cameras are off, she's not the nicest person to actually be around.
Who cares?
Well,
It's
I mean,
Ellen DeGeneres. It's everybody's I would
I
say
mean,
everybody's
the
mom.
same thing can be said about a lot of people, though.
Y'all kidding me?
Wait, do you
Everybody
think
wants someone
Dwayne the
great.
Rock Johnson is not nice in front of cameras?
Well, no, I said that can be for a lot of people, though. Like, I'm sure he's a great guy. I'm just saying, like, not everyone,
Who cares?
not everyone
Oh, she
who's.
wasn't nice to me after the Grammys. Shut up, you. Fucking-
It was the Oscars, and also these are people who you look up to, who have like,
Don't give a damn.
that's because it's not your hero. Who's your hero? If Eminem was mean to you, which how would you feel?
He's not my hero. I only have one hero. His name's Chris Hansen. Sorry.
Chris Hansen, the serial killer?
No,
No,
Chris
that's
Hansen
Charlie
added like
Manson.
easy there.
Oh, which one is Chris Hansen? The rock star?
No, Chris Hansen is the guy. That's just Hansen.
Okay, Chris Hansen
Chris
is
Hansen's the guy
from.
from To Catch a Predator.
Okay, I was getting ready to say what's that show with the FBI? It was like the guy where his son got killed and he made that show. I forgot what it's called. America's Most Wanted, but that's probably somebody else who hopefully it's not
Yeah, I
another
don't know.
Hansen. But okay, so we don't give a shit about Ellen DeGeneres being mean, I guess. So
Well, I
Do
mean,
you?
yeah, man, my wife looks up to Ellen DeGeneres. She
Fuck
can't be
Ellen.
out. She can't be out here being mean to people. That's not
Yes,
cool.
you can. Obviously,
That's no bueno. That's not cash money of her. That's not very cash money of her.
she has
well, I mean,
more cash than me and more money than me.
Absolutely. Yeah, even baby Adam agrees. He said, "Really? Really? Yes. For real." Word. All right. So, this coronavirus has been making drug buying take so hard and difficult that I actually had to buy some sneakers from my drug dealer, and I don't know what he laced them with, but I've been tripping all day. That was my dad joke. I just wanted to get that out there. All right. So, topic number 1. Was staying at home worth the effect that it will have on the economy? In your opinion, of course.
No, fuck these old guys.
Jesus. Oh, I mean, economy-wise, yeah, definitely no. But it's for the better health of everyone.
Hmm, hmm.
And if everyone wore a mask, then Corona would be, well, way less, deadly to the younger generation and the older generation. I can't remember where I read it, but it was something about if everyone wore a mask, they could probably clear this up way faster. I can't remember the exact
Dude,
details.
remember the government was telling us not to wear masks. They said it's foolish to wear masks because it's not going to stop you from getting the disease. Why would you wear a mask? So now
Now,
all of a sudden,
how
oh,
the
you gotta wear masks if you want to go to the store. It's the law.
how the turns tabled.
So, sometimes I don't trust our government.
I think I saw something on like NBC. It was like 70% of people aren't believing what they're hearing now because there's so many different things being said. They're saying Bill Gates is trying to microchip you now, so the vaccine is going to have a microchip so that you could track your movements. And I don't know the logistics of that, but that sounds crazy. They're saying 5G is causing corona, which is just,
That's ridiculous.
I heard
yeah.
there are people protesting in New York saying that Corona is a lie. So,
I mean, that's ridiculous too. People are dying. Oh, also, there's a not a conspiracy, but people are dying from other diseases, and they're being counted as corona deaths because the hospitals will get more money or something like that. So there's that.
Actually, Corona's being undercounted in New York City.
Well, no, in certain areas they're adding corona deaths. So if you died from
Which
uh
areas are those?
other parts of the states, I'd have to go deep into my Reddit searches again, which I'm not doing right now. But yeah, people are dying from non-coronavirus related deaths, and they're still being counted as corona deaths just because they're trying to pad the numbers. Because like I said, these hospitals, they'll get I guess grants or some type of money or whatever from having, corona deaths in their building.
Well, I mean, that's really, that's kind of messed up. Well, it's not kind of, it's incredibly fucked up, but
Now, mind you, I didn't mind the stay-at-home thing because I'm already, a stay-at-home kind of guy. But, it's crazy that this is going to really change the economy. People are literally losing their jobs. That's so ridiculous.
I
And
mean,
I feel like we might have mishandled this whole situation. Might have, just maybe.
I heard, I remember hearing on the news that China actually undermined it. Like, not, they basically underplayed. Is that the word?
Like they
They went
underestimated the effect of it, or they just tried to downplay it. Like, oh
no,
yeah, it's not that
they
bad.
tried to cover it up, like how bad it was.
Oh yeah,
All the way
yeah.
back in January.
Oh yeah, I read that too, or I seen that somewhere.
I'm just one guy, but that's incredibly messed up. Even if you think it's gonna stay in China, like you got that whole continent to worry about, and then the fact that it spread over here, it's kind of messed up because they were. I read the news said that they were like stockpiling like masks and stuff, even all the way back, like when the first corona case popped up.
Wait, who was China?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, oh my goodness, they knew. They was stockpiling. Oh, that's oh, that's fucked up. No, don't tell me this. No, China, not China.
Then,
We're gonna go to
we
war
get a
with
lot of
China.
our stuff. A lot of our stuff is
right.
made in China. So they were pulling back ships where companies like they have their ship made and then they have a ship from China, but China was like, nah, we keeping that for us. Like it's made here, we're keeping it.
Yo, that's crazy. So, I don't know which president or what year it's going to happen, but we're going to eventually end up going to war with China. We owe them so much money, and we're relying on them too much, but they're becoming, no, sorry, not becoming, that's disrespectful. They're already a superpower. China, Russia, and the United States are the only superpowers right now, and I feel like China, we're getting to that point where it's like, bro, we're going to go to war with China, because China allies themselves with North Korea, and I don't know how we feel about North Korea currently, but, man, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I don't want to think about that.
All right, we ain't gonna think about that. Ace, how you feel about the stay-at-home order? Did you feel like it was worth it for the effect that it's gonna have on the economy going forward?
No.
Yeah, we're basically going into a recession, or at least a micro recession. I won't give it the title of full-blown recession, but I will say it's at least a micro recession, just because people lost
In
their
the
jobs and
state
stuff.
of recession.
Yeah, and like I said, people lost their jobs. We're going to see how this affects loans, because once loans get affected, that's when shit really gets real, because that's how businesses are created. They have to borrow money. They come up with the idea, and that's all great and dandy, but they still got to get this money to start the idea. So once you can't get your loan, your business loan to start your business or to buy a house, oh my god, the effect that's going to have on the economy is just going to be atrocious. It's going to get real. We're going to see. So, prayers up to those people who trying to make it.
Every year just gets worse and worse. We just gotta learn to accept it.
Yo, everything was getting, well, we had Trump, but everything was going fine. We were doing good. We were doing bad that we elected Trump, but he was almost out the door, so it was chilling, And then this year was just like, everybody get the flu or an intense version of the flu. And then it was like, well, let's overreact and do this. Maybe overreact. Again, I'm no medical professional, but maybe you need to get it a little bit. Not the people who are sickly, but maybe you need to get it a little bit so you can build an immunity to it. Maybe. Again, not
A
a
little
not a
herd
professional.
immunity.
Yeah, not a professional, but that's just my thoughts on it. Because you need, like, your body naturally has to learn how to fight off these diseases. But if we stay at home, then we don't learn how to fight off any disease. Then that's kind of like, all right, say I stayed at home and now my body don't know how to fight off corona. But if I was home, I would have caught like maybe a little bit of corona. I don't even know that's possible to get a little bit of corona. Like, can I get a little bit of corona, just a teeny bit, like a side of corona? I want a full plate of sneeze, but just like, yeah, just a little pinch of corona. Put that on my face, please. But anyway, so now my body doesn't know how to handle it. So when I see a corona that probably evolved from somebody who had corona and passed it and that got an immunity to it, now I'm getting a corona V2, the second edition, corona 2.0, I'm really gonna be fucked. That's why some of these younger people probably dying.
The sad thing is, like, even if they do have a vaccine, Corona's never gonna go away because you got people like anti-vaxxers who are gonna refuse to vaccinate themselves and their children, and it's just gonna. Well, that's how I'm seeing it.
And
It's
yo,
just gonna kind of
I
just linger there.
I get it being an anti-vaxxer because the fucked up stuff that they have done in the past to people, but still, man, I don't know. I would probably take a vaccine. Probably. I haven't taken a cold or what's it called, flu shot, only because I don't typically get the flu. So I've never taken a flu shot, but I'm not against vaccines or anything of that nature. I've taken tetanus shots because I'm like, all right, I don't want to get tetanus. Sure, why not? But I'm not an anti-vaxxer per se, but I know of the history of like what they put inside of shit, talking about, oh yeah, we're gonna help y'all out. Like, do
Yeah, but
y'all
that was in the
remember?
past.
It was in the past, but that don't stop people. Do you remember, Lawrence? You might remember because we went to high school together. The Tuskegee Airmen.
I mean, yeah, I know the Tuskegee Airmen. What do you
All
mean? Do I
right.
remember them?
So, well, I'm gonna ask the other people first too. Was it Toxic Ace? Do y'all know about the Tuskegee Airmen? What they happened with
Nah.
them? So
No,
it was like they were airplane pilots, blase blase, and really good airplane pilots, not to diminish their credit. But when they came home, they were given needles, and it was supposed to be penicillin or some shit like that. But instead, it was syphilis inside of it because they were trying to test out how does syphilis react in the body, and they didn't tell them that they were giving them syphilis because they were just doing experiments on them. Like they gave motherfucker syphilis, dog, a curable disease, and they didn't tell them, and they were just like testing them out. Like, all right, well, what happens if you have syphilis for this amount of time? Blase, blase, and they're giving it to pregnant women too. Shit was crazy.
well, I mean, I'm not gonna defend them. That's incredibly fucked up.
Yeah, and
And
I would just hope
science
that they're
is
not
a,
doing that no more. But you like I said, who's to say? Who's to say whether they're
in all
doing it? And go
honesty,
ahead.
I wouldn't put it past some of the people in charge. Like, I'm not
That's
like, oh
that's
yeah, the
not
government's hiding
that's not
everything from us,
reassuring,
but
bro. I thought you was gonna be pro government. You sound like a goddamn socialist.
no, the government ever was. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, I'm not gonna go crazy and be like the government's, fucking losing people and shit. But with how trustworthy, like, with the amount, I'm trying to put into words. Basically, the government has done stuff that
Hmm.
has been like, do I really trust you? You know what? Stay over there.
What's your percentage level of trust in the government, guys?
Percentage?
Honestly,
Yeah.
putting trust in percentages, I'd say maybe 50%.
That's fair.
50,
I'll
that's
give them
high.
60. I'll give them 60. I give you guys 60%
The
because
government?
there's still some chance that you're gonna try to fuck me.
That's like, in all honesty, that's like a lot.
Literally, our government is created so that they can't fuck us.
So you give them higher than 60?
No, but no, every single time they try to fuck us.
So what's the percentage you give of your trust to the government?
Like 25%.
Bro, that's an extreme distrust of the government. You might as well just not pay taxes. Also, I was trying to get you to be realistic. There's no way you trust the government 25%. You trust them enough to get that paycheck. Pay.
Well, I mean, with like,
I
I'm not
think
really.
anything less than like a 30%, like one third, if that, yeah, anything less than 30%, you're prone to, or you're susceptible to, what's that called? Anarchy. So would you say you're susceptible to anarchy? Like you would rise against the government?
No.
All right, well, let's go less than 10%. So Ace, you're the
Just don't
last one.
trust them dudes.
Yeah, Ace, what's your trust level with the government?
Taking away my pie.
We might have lost Ace. All right, well, let's move on to our rant segment. Sipping tea. This is where you rant about, shit that's either good or bad. And I feel like I ranted enough when I was talking about the government, so I'm gonna lead it off to Aurora just started snapping. Lawrence, you might gotta change her diaper again or something.
Like,
All right, well, we'll go to Toxic while about to say Wolf, while Lawrence is handling that. Hopefully, we'll be able to hear him when he
Honestly,
comes back.
I don't have much to rant about, but fucking April. I mean, yeah, April. Nothing major happened. Then May comes around. It's like, oh yeah, fucking killer bees. It's like
As if it
in
wasn't
more ways than
already
nothing,
bad
right?
enough. Yeah.
No, but like those things are deadly because like they're gonna like if more and more keep on coming over, which I think right now the problem is being contained with the killer bees. But if more and more keep on coming over, then they're gonna not only they're gonna kill a lot of honeybees because Japanese honeybees have a self-defense mechanism. I remember seeing this on TV because I was bored. But I glanced up, and the Japanese honeybees, they just swarm off with a wasp and they start vibrating and they cook the wasp alive. It's crazy. Bees are crazy.
So wait, if they're cooking the wasp alive, that's a good thing because they're killing the killer
Yeah,
wasp. Oh, okay, okay,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Just making sure
American
I heard you.
honeybees, yeah, but Western honeybees don't have that defense mechanism because they never had to deal with a killer wasp. It only takes 12 killer wasps to kill an entire hive. It's crazy. Honestly, I just wish that they would have stayed over. I don't want to
How does this stuff be happening? I guess it caught on like a piece of fruit and just survived the whole boat ride here. I'm guessing. I have no
probably.
clue, but like that's just crazy how these
I
things
mean, there was
spread.
already like it's crazy though, because like a few stings is enough to kill a guy. Like I saw this guy, like Joe Exotic, I think that was his name, on YouTube. He voluntarily let himself get stung like 3 or 4 times. His arm was so swollen. Like
Joe Exotic
I think that's his name.
from Tiger King.
No, not Joe. No, that's a different Joe. Hold up. I'm gonna pull up his channel right now. Brave Wilderness. That's his channel name.
While he's
It's
pulling up that
called.
channel, Lawrence, you can do your rant too.
He said it's called what?
Brave Wilderness. Got a here we go. We got an Inside Edition 2-minute clip. I'm gonna send you. Discord. And here you go. Send that to you. I sent that to your DMs in Discord. And
All
I will
right.
be right back.
Well, yeah, Lawrence, what's your rant for this week?
Rant for this week. I'll tell you what it is. I hate when you get really invested into a character on D&D, but the dungeon master don't be trying to play. But to say
Draco.
you're there every single time.
Draco,
You know,
you know what he's talking about?
Mm-hmm.
you're there every single time, just waiting, and then he's never there.
Yep.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Misery, misery, misery. Alright, well, topic number 2. So this one, you're going to be going through the various decades. So I'm going to just limit it to us through the 90s, the 2000s, and the 2010s. And we're going to do categories and then work our way to the overall decade. So let's start with the biggest category of the 90s, 2000s, and 2010s movies. Or sorry, the decades. Which one do you think, in your opinion, had the best set of movies? Which decade had the best set of movies? Open platform, anybody can jump in. The 90s had Jurassic Parks, the 2000s had Transformers, 2010s had you probably had Inception. I'd have to double check on Inception. That might have came out 2009.
I mean, 90s
Inception.
did have some pretty cool movies like RoboCop,
Yeah, Inception was
Terminator,
2010.
Jurassic Park.
Boys in the Hood, Scary Movie. Well, Scary Movie might have been 2000. What was the first Scary Movie? Give me a second. First Scary Movie was First Scary Movie was the year 2000. Yeah, 2000s had some good movies too. So just remember that the year 2000s had some good movies.
And yeah, I mean, each year, like you said, has their own gems of movies.
You also had some duds, or not duds, but some movies that we are embarrassed about, such as Twilight. That was for the 2000s.
Shit was so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
The fact that, I mean, props to the author though, because she basically just made a fan fiction on a Bluetooth, not Bluetooth, what is it, like a BlackBerry phone? Is that it? God, I feel young. You
You say
probably
you
know
feel young.
exactly what I'm
Oh,
talking
yo,
about.
fuck out of here. He said, I feel young. Nobody says I feel young. People say I feel old.
I
He's like,
know.
oh, God, I feel so young.
I don't know what. Fuck, it was a BlackBerry. BlackBerry, right?
I don't remember what device she wrote it on. I know it was stupid ass fan fiction.
Yeah. And then, I mean, props to her to getting that fan fiction made into a book, but the movies were terrible. I don't know. The books are probably also terrible.
We also had in the 2000s the beginning of the MCU. It culminated in the 2010s to Endgame, which was really good. So just keep that in mind.
Oh, fuck, that's right.
We had the prequel trilogy in the 2000s, kind of in the 90s if you count episode 1 that came out in 99. Oh, Matrix was 99 as well. Iron Man, oh, I already said that. Harry Potter was the 2000s. Fast and Furious, if you're a big fan of that.
Honestly, Moscow, I can't really pick.
Ace, what's your thought?
You just gave me a choice.
Oh, all decades are pretty good with their own movies.
Yeah, but what decade seals the deal for you?
No, they're all equally the way.
Honestly, I'm gonna. Even though the '90s had great movies, I've seen some of the good ones like Jurassic Park, Terminator, stuff like that. I'm gonna say 2000s because that's what I grew up watching.
You said the 2000s.
90s movies are
Yeah.
better than 2000s.
Which 2000s movies sealed the deal for you?
I mean, The Matrix was in 2000.
Well, the first Matrix was 99, so if you go on anything, gotta go.
I'm a
The
giant
first
Matrix
Matrix
fan.
was
I grew up
99. I
watching.
thought it was 2000.
No, first Matrix was 99, then it bled
Oh
over
yeah, you
into
guys are
2000.
done then. You guys are done.
So wait, what you pick? The 90s?
Yeah.
90s was cool and all, but 2000s had some hitters, just so you know. The 2010s didn't really do it for me as far as like impactful movies, besides Inception. But other than that, the 2010s is what I'm trying to say. You didn't have nothing else that's crazy besides, like I said, the culmination of the MCU and the reboots of Star Wars, which were, okay, but they're not going to be talked about for years, like how the prequels are, whether they are talked about in regard or hatred. People are going to be like, yeah, prequel trilogy, or sorry, sequel trilogy. People are going to be like, yeah, it was there. That was a huge misstep. Jurassic Park was 90s, which was really good. I like Jurassic World better, so 2010s right there. But the 2000s, like I said, had some hitters. So for me, I'm going to pick the 2000s movies, as cheesy as they are, even though 90s is definitely more classic.
I feel like in like 2000 and growing up, there was a lot of like like not remixes, but
Reboots?
like yeah, especially reboots especially for horror movies, which I'm a huge fan of horror movies.
Okay.
Some of them were really good, and then others were terrible, to say the least.
I like the 2010s because you got the reboots, but they were more self-referential, like 21 Jump Street. I believe that's 2010s, and even though that was a reboot, it was more satire. It was very tongue-in-cheek. And what else? Scott Pilgrim. I don't remember what year that came out, but that was really good. Scott
I
Pilgrim
can't, I
versus
can't
the
agree with you
World.
there.
Yeah. But like I said, I'm still gonna pick 2000s. Those are pretty good. Those are pretty good. All right, so that's that category down, and I believe everybody picked except for Ace. I'm not sure if Ace is still here with us or not because he's quiet. Now, what about?
He said that like every
They're all equal.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Even.
So now, what about television? Which decade had the best television shows?
honestly, I can't really put a whole lot to this conversation because the only thing I watch besides movies occasionally is anime.
So, which decade had the best anime
Um,
for you? That's the easiest for you to pick. 90s anime, 2000s anime.
I've been watching like a lot of
Fuck
2000s anime.
Naruto. Fuck One Piece. So that helps you out right there.
2010s.
I like Naruto just fine.
2010s. I'm gonna say 2010s because the 2010s had Rick and Morty. and Archer. But that's cartoons. I don't know about human TV shows. Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
There's still TV shows.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was trying to name something besides cartoons. Like, oh, what are you, a kid? You only watch cartoons? Um,
Man, if anyone says that, just punch them right in the face. You're able to watch whatever you want if you pay your own damn cable bill.
2000s TV shows would have to be It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and Family Guy technically, but it started in 1999, so you can't really claim Family Guy as far as TV show goes. 2010s also brought us the CW verse, the CW Arrowverse, so that's pretty cool. You had Flash, Arrow, and those are the only good ones to mention. What else? I didn't mention any 90s TV shows, but you gotta know once I name these shows, it's gonna blow away everything you said. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Family Matters, Full House. Everywhere you look, there's a heart. There's somebody who needs me. Oh my goodness, come on, 90s TV shows. Come on, guys, 90s TV shows.
Mosca, I wasn't in the 90s, so I didn't grow up watching, like, every cool
Yeah,
show.
I know most of all those shows. So I was like,
Oh, okay, hold on. I got some. No, I got something for you. You didn't watch the live action shows, but you definitely watched these cartoon shows. Powerpuff Girls, sugar, spice, and everything nice. These are the ingredients to make the perfect little girls. Dexter's
Oh, yeah, that sounds
Laboratory.
fucking...
Yeah, that
That
bled
sounds
over.
like
Yeah,
a
that.
boomerang late at
Yeah,
night on
yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Cartoon.
That bled over. Rugrats. Dun 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 dun. Dun. All right, you got the deal.
Yeah.
Doug. Come on, man. 90s TV shows for the
No,
win,
I haven't seen
bro.
Doug.
Besides 2010s, and a shame that I didn't name a lot of 2000 shows, but I think 90s probably is the OG, just because nostalgia is playing a heavy hand in this. But what y'all thinking? 90s or
I agree with
2010s?
you for, like, 90s cartoon shows.
Yeah, I use nostalgia against you. I'm a sneaky bitch.
You motherfucker.
That's how the companies get you. They use nostalgia on you. Ace, did I rope you in with nostalgia? You picking 90s or you still going with the generic all of them are good?
pretty much.
We know all of them are good, but if you
Yeah.
had to award a decade for the
Shit.
championship of best TV
90s.
shows, 90s, hey, it's a nostalgia trip.
Shit, come on.
Yeah,
Nostalgia. Get you
Lawrence,
every time.
I assume you're dealing with Aurora, so I'm gonna pick for you, and you're just gonna pick 90s. You've seceded into the group. Now, this one might be tough because I know we all have different taste in music. So the next category, spoilers, is music. Which decade? Oh, almost missed that jump.
Hello.
Oh,
2010s, sorry. 2010s.
says who? What TV show?
2010s is the golden era of TV, bro.
I know, but
Oh
which
my
TV
god.
shoe is the golden era? What makes it the golden
Breaking
era?
Bad, Game of Thrones,
Oh,
Walking
oh,
Dead.
oh, slow down. Oh, ah. With them hits, he just went straight for the hits.
I'm sorry, like 2010s is because TV, especially like live action TV, was never up to par as movies, up to the same standard as movies until now. Now you can watch a TV show and it's still it the graphics and like everything hold up to like where is a movie.
Yeah, they got that budget now because they know motherfuckers is home. They ain't going to the movie theaters no more.
Yeah. Come on, bro. Then you talk about binge and stuff. They come out with The Boys. Boom, niggas straight binge that
Oh,
off
yeah, oh,
Amazon Prime, bro.
you throwing
Like,
haymakers at me
come
with it.
on,
You
man.
throwing
Come
haymakers.
on, bro.
So you've just toppled, what's that word? You just toppled nostalgia with some fucking haymakers. He said, oh, I got you. You got nostalgia? Cool. I see you one haymaker right here. Walking Dead. Boom, bitch. Oh, you want more? Stranger Things. Oh, bitch. Oh, you want
Oh,
something
shit.
gangster? The Boys. Oh, bitch. Oh, all right, all
And
right.
when you talk about the greatest TV show of all time, Game of Thrones came out in came out in the 2010s. So, boom. If you want to talk about cartoons, cartoons are different. But if we're talking just plain TV shows, I'd say 2010.
Yeah, I love it playing TV shows. So what about cartoons? If I had to just subcategorize for you, what about? Oh, this is a boss nigga. I thought it was a
Now
boss guy.
cartoons is hard because the 90s have hits on hits, but the 2000s were pretty good.
What
And
was 2000
Avatar,
Samurai Jack or Samurai Jack was the
Samurai
90s?
Jack. I think Samurai Jack was the 2000s.
Okay.
But I think SpongeBob is the 90s. But Avatar, in my opinion, is the greatest cartoon ever, and it's 2000s. So yeah. So I would have to give it to 90s for quantity, 2000s for quality if we're talking cartoons.
I gotta change my answer for the cartoons because a lot of great hits just
He
popped
pulled
in
you
my
back
head.
in.
Like
Yeah, he roped you back in.
a lot of great answers, like Steven Universe,
Not for
Adventure
me.
Time. I know these are for newer cartoons, but some of the earlier 2000 cartoons were great, like Avatar. Fucking love Avatar. Um, what are some other great hits? Adventure Time, Steven Universe, Avatar. I know there were a few others. I can't remember off the top of my head, but just Adventure Time was great. Like it started off like goofy and stuff, but later down the line, like the story got really deep.
Do you watch or did you watch it was the show there was at a campsite too, and I can't even think of the name of it right now. Don't even worry about it.
Camp Lazlo?
What'd you say?
Camp Lazlo.
Nah, it wasn't Camp Lazlo. It was they had like a crossover thing with Rick and Morty ish where they had a portal gun in one of the episodes. I forgot. It was on TBS
Oh,
and
Gravity Falls.
Gravity Falls, yeah, Gravity Falls. I started watching that. I was like, alright, this is kind of alright. It's not as adult. I like adult humor where they be like saying jokes that's inappropriate. That
Oh, I
was a
forgot
little bit
about
more
South
kiddie.
Park. South Park came out in
90s, that's 90s, bro. Don't try to
South Park
claim that from
came out in the
2000.
90s,
Yeah.
but some of their best stuff is the 2000s.
Yeah.
Imagination Land is 2000s.
Imagination.
Some of the best stuff is 2000s. So I would still classify South Park as a 2000s. No, it came out. When did it come out?
You
Like
can't
96?
classify. Yeah, you can't classify it as 2000. It started. It was
Yeah.
birthed in the 90s. It reached its peak in the 2000s.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, so sorry, my voice. The next category is going to be tougher because I know, like I said, me and Lawrence got similar taste in music, but we gotta go. We're gonna do music basically. I'm gonna fast forward it. We're gonna do music. So, which decade had the best music? You could do pop acts too, so don't think we just want to do rap. So, 90s had boy bands. You had NSYNC and you had Backstreet Boys. Everybody, keep that in mind. Eminem started in the 90s. Just if I'm gonna go rap. So, what y'all thinking as far as music goes? Which decade had the best music? Again, this is all personal opinion, so don't be afraid to say something that's the wrong answer.
Wait, is nobody talking?
Don't be shy, kiddies. Yeah, they scared. They didn't really.
I'm thinking, but
I'm gonna say 2000s if we're just going by like the songs that were put out, because there were so many great one-hit wonders. Yeah, and there was a lot of ringtone rappers, so they had to make catchy hooks. And you gotta shout out to the King T-Pain. He brought auto-tune to this world, and it changed everything forever and ever.
What about Jibs?
He had This Is Why I'm Hot. No, that's Mims.
That's Mims. He had Chain Hang Low and King Kong.
Yeah, that's a good guy too. I remember him. Do your chain hang low, do it wobble to the flow, do it. All right, don't put it in my head though. We ain't got time for that. We ain't got time for that.
Okay.
But
you remember King Kong?
You remember? Yeah.
That's a good song.
Do you remember Hurricane Chris?
King Kong in the trunk. Oh, Hurricane Chris.
Hey, baby. All right, stop. Okay, yeah, 2000s was great. I'm picking 2000s. I'm sorry. Ace, Toxic, say something else before we start thinking about 2000s one-hit wonders.
Well, for me personally, I listen to a lot of EDM. Other than that, I don't listen to a whole lot of other music. I know I'm a basic bitch. I'm personally a fan of like newer artists like Slushy, Marshmello, other great artists like that.
What about like Panic at the Disco? That's again 2000s. I'm sorry, Paramore. I'm naming just nothing but non-stop 2000s artists. Green Day, which is probably 90s, but I'm just thinking of I walk a lonely road, the only
road that I have ever known.
That's my shit.
And I walk alone, I walk
my shit. Alright, stop, we got stop. Yo, YouTube, the fucking, what's that shit? The copyright bot is going crazy. Like, oh no, there's too much copyright. Ace, give me something. What songs or what decade stands out to you?
If we're talking white people music, it's the 80s, bro. Come on now.
I didn't add 80s because none of us were born in the 80s. So I
But if
didn't
we
add
talk about
80s.
white people music,
Well, besides the 80s.
so
Yeah, besides
2000s for black people, 80s for white people.
Hold
Hands
on.
down.
Yeah, you're making me laugh like crazy. 2000s for black people, 80s for white. The 80s was popping, but I didn't want to do the 80s because we weren't all going to be super familiar with it. Yeah.
Talking away.
Oh yeah.
Wait,
That's
I'm
my
at the
shit, bro.
Rogue space.
You got out of touch. You're out of touch. I'm out of time. But I'm out of my head when you're not around.
So
Back up.
here's another easy one. Which decade out of the 90s, I say 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s had the best toys? Remember those? Remember toys? A little bit of
2010s.
Rubik's Cube, Slinky. 2010 had the best toys?
This
How you
nigga Adam
figure?
got a Switch. That's the best toy ever.
That is, but is that better than the goddamn what's that shit called? Play-Doh, my guy? Play-Doh? Do you remember Play-Doh?
Yeah.
Prehistoric shit right there.
Adam got a drone for Christmas.
Yo, drones is cool, but they can't laugh when you tickle them like a tickle me Elmo.
Okay, yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
2010.
I was trying to
My little
pull on the
sister got a
nostalgia though. I was
doll.
trying to pull on the nostalgia. I couldn't get it though.
My
The
little
Legos.
sister has a $400 doll.
That shit got
That
real
looks
hair.
so freaking real. It has real hair. It looks so real that they left it in the car when they went into Walmart, and people called the cops
Oh.
because they thought they left a baby in the car. Some lady and dude were like standing around the car. They were about to break the window when they came outside.
All right, toys have come a long way, but do y'all remember Etch-a-Sketch? Do y'all remember Etch-a-Sketch? Etch-a-Sketch.
Oh my god, yeah.
Nightlight?
Seriously.
Or was it still Night Bright?
Light bright.
Light Bright. Y'all remember Light
Wish I
Bright?
may, wish I might.
I don't know no 2000s toys, so Toxic, feel free to jump in on this one and name some toys from your childhood.
I can't remember any like major.
Alright, hold on. I'm about to kill the Switch with this one. Yo-yos, my guy. Yo-yos?
God.
Oh my goodness, you couldn't tell me you wasn't a man if you knew how to do yo-yo tricks. Come
So
on.
you put the string on your finger and you throw it down and you pull it
You
up.
walk the dog
Oh my goodness.
around the world, swinging all the.
Come on. Yo-yo was
Switch is the best toy ever, dog.
Yo-yo took over the whole world. They had yo-yo competitions. I don't know no Switch competitions.
Adam plays Breath of the Wild on the TV. Then when he got to go take a shit, he pull it right out of the dock, put the Jones on the side, and go upstairs and take a shit.
You could do the same thing with a yo-yo. I mean, you shouldn't
Oh
play
my
yo-yo
God.
on the TV
I
though,
just have
but
bad memories of yo-yo because there was this kid that would go around my fucking schools.
Shoving ones up your
High
ass.
school. No, but he would just fucking swing it like a fucking flow and just like smack.
Oh.
That shit hurt.
Yeah, no, that's a no-go right there. I remember yo-yos that had like spinners on them. I guess the lights would spin actually, or the lights would light up and it would look like they was like rim
light-up
spinners.
yo-yos were really cool, where you do this.
Yeah, light up yo-yos were the shit. Okay, not yo-yos. One last one. How about Yu-Gi-Oh cards? You couldn't tell me Yu-Gi-Oh cards weren't a big hit. Yu-Gi-Oh cards were a big hit. I had to hit you with that one last. Yu-Gi-Oh cards were the shit.
So when I
Math
was a
and
kid,
gaming? Come on,
so
math
when
and
I was
gaming,
like-
bro.
I want to say I was like 12. That was like the prime of my life. I had a Game Boy Advance SP, a deck of Yu-Gi-Oh cards that nobody could beat, bruh. Yo, I have my Huffy, yo. That was the best time of my life.
So what decade did I change your mind?
No, 2010.
Oh, I tried to hit you with some good shit though. I tried to hit you with some good
Early
shit.
2000s,
My little brother had a pogo stick.
90s and early 2000s, Game Boy, Pokemon Fire Red.
Par.
You can't even do the stuff with a Game Boy that you can do now on the Switch, or vice versa. Sorry, that sounds like no.
I had
I said it the wrong way. I said it the wrong way. I
That
said
shit
it the
was
wrong way.
poking out the bottom.
What I'm saying is, with a Switch, you can't do no split screen. You can't hang out with your friends on no Switch. But with a
Yes,
Game
you
Boy,
can.
you can go
Literally
link
on the
cable.
Switch.
Link cable,
Literally
bro.
on the Switch, you don't even need him to buy his own game. You can pull the Joy-Cons right off, and they literally turn into two separate controllers.
It's all about that link cable.
But the link cable requires you to buy a game and me to buy a game. If you
Yeah.
come over our house and you don't have a Switch, we can literally turn those two Joy-Cons into two separate controllers. Not to mention that he already has two wired controllers that he hooks up to his dock. So he can play 4 players even though he only has technically 2 controllers.
Damn, I probably lost that one. All right, that's it. That's all I got for toys. I can't name no other toys. Ace, you trying to join in on this?
No, well, there's somewhere. What error?
All right, this
So,
next one's gonna be another easy one in my opinion. Fashion. Which decade had the best fashion?
I don't even care about fish.
I mean, but
1620s.
the 1620s. I'm gonna say the 2010s because everybody wearing mostly like not super tight, not super baggy. It's appropriate. The 2000s people was wearing stupid shit like late 2000s and early 20.
2010s are the best fashion, and for one reason and one reason only.
Don't say
Yoga
leggings.
pants.
I knew it.
Yoga pants, bro.
Yeah, I
Yoga
knew it.
pants.
I knew
Whoever
it.
created those, the nigga deserves an Oscar, nigga deserves a Grammy, an Emmy,
You deserve
a
everything.
Nobel Peace Prize, fucking
Nobel Peace Prize.
India Ari Award.
Let's give the thong to the 90s, even though the thong been out. So, do you put yoga pants over thong?
Yes, easy.
Easy. Do you remember when girls would wear like I forgot what they call it, low-rise jeans and fucking midriff shirts, and then you would see their thong,
Trash.
and that was the
Nah,
hottest
that
thing. Now it's all yoga pants, cause now
yoga
yoga pants.
pants, bro.
Yeah, but before yoga pants, it was that combo right there: midriff shirts and fucking low-rise jeans. The worst.
Yeah, I can't really give my greatest input on fashion because I don't really care about.
Well, I was watching
Just
or I'm not was I'm watching Bad Boys 2 because I'm doing a paper on it, and I'm looking at what's the girl's name in it? Gabrielle
Gabrielle
Union.
Union,
She's wearing this
sexy.
fucking baggy ass pantsuit. I'm like, yo, come on, early 2000s, why you
Yeah,
doing
when she
her
was
like this?
during the car chase, right?
Yeah, and I'm like,
That
what?
joint was
Why?
badass,
Why is
bro.
that
She's
joint
busting out the
so
back, yo.
baggy? But I never noticed it in the year 2003 when it came out. But now I'm like, that joint not fitting properly. It's so much air in that fucking suit. And that's Miami, mind you. So you want an airy suit anyway. But when I went to fucking John Mayer's graduation, Shantae brought me this linen or whatever is the material, white pants, and I'm like, this joint's baggy as shit. And this looks stupid. So I look at the picture, I'm like, this joint dumb. Cause I got this tight ass fitted shirt where you can see my muscles, but then I got these baggy pants on. I'm like, yeah, this wasn't a good look. You gotta choose. You can't be tight and baggy. So yeah, 2010s was the best because we figured out the ratio to 90s baggy and early 2000s super tight. Or no, late 2000s super tight where everybody went to party like a rock star. Remember that shit? Studded belts, Ed Hardy.
Yo, that was what you was wearing. The
I mean,
little
I'm just
wallet
saying
with the chain
everybody
on, with the
had it
bike
too. It
chain on
wasn't.
it.
It wasn't just
Little
Deron.
fingerless gloves with the spikes on the knuckles.
Oh my God, fingerless gloves. That was the shit. Andrew had them too. I'm throwing you under the bus, Drew. He was wearing fingerless gloves with me. I was not the only one wearing fingerless gloves.
Oh,
Don't worry, bro. They still cool in certain
they're
occasions.
not
In
cool.
certain
They're not
occasions,
Wear
cool.
fingerless gloves.
bro. I was edge. I was trying to be edgy. I was emo. That's what it was. The edgy wasn't a thing, or it probably was. I was
Did you want a
emo.
big? Did you want a big titty golf GF?
Yes,
Is that
who
what you?
doesn't? Who doesn't? Did
Honestly,
you
Oh my
not?
god.
Like, shit, bro.
Oh my goodness.
You could have
The
just
early
stopped at big
2000s.
titty for real.
Oh my goodness. With green hair,
college.
fucking what's that chick? Danny Phantom? Remember that chick from Danny Phantom? That was where that
Oh
shit came
yeah,
from.
yeah. She was sexy.
I don't know if Timmy Turner had their own version of a goth chick. I think Kim Possible had one. The Evil Kim Possible. Was that the right show? Wasn't there an Evil Kim Possible? Like she was pale and shit and had green hair or
I
black
ain't
hair.
watched that
Pretty
much
sure that was like one of the.
Impossible.
I'm pretty sure that was like one of the main villains.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. I don't remember the
so.
name of the villain. But all right, well, let's go past fashion. Which decade had the best cars? Now you ain't got to be a car enthusiast, but you could just talk about what cars look the coolest. 90s, excuse me, 90s, 2000s, or 2010s cars. And this could be sports or
I like the
casual.
muscle cars from further back.
Well, don't go to the
90s
80s and 70s. You can't go that far back
Why not?
because
Those
they're
are where
not
the
part of
best
them.
muscle cars are
Yeah,
made.
those aren't part of the equation. Those aren't part of it because everybody knows those look cool. Because everybody knows
Well, they
those look
were.
cool.
They were clean. They were nice.
I know. That's why I'm only giving you the most recent 30
Clean than a
years.
bitch.
So I'm gonna pick the 2010s because I like them. The
Like,
cars
if you
got really
like those
curvy.
cars, you could get anyone.
Yeah, excuse me. Yep, I agree. But yeah, I'm picking the 2010s because those cars were nice and curvy. Even the casual cars had more curves. That way, if you were driving a 90s Toyota Camry versus a 2000, what year? 2019 Toyota Camry, there's a big difference. One looks way cooler. Ace, what about you?
Nah, nothing. I don't care for cars.
I knew you was gonna say that.
Yeah, we can still pick one. I mean,
No.
90s had some pretty clean cars.
The early 2000s had a good looking Mustang. The 2007 Mustang with that
Yeah,
big ass
yeah.
front lip. I used to hate it, but now I'm like, I'm all about this. Because then I hated the 2010s Mustang, but now I'm like, actually, this is the better option because the curvy look, much more subdued front lip, is so much better. BMWs, I think from 2013 and up look really good. Don't really care for a 90s BMW. It's cool for its time, but it is a fossil in place. I think my dad's watching the podcast, or he's just called me. But if you're watching the podcast, Dad, I can't answer the phone right now. Well, he's called my phone, but I'm assuming it's a podcast related thing. Just text it to me, or I'll read it.
He about to tell you who got the best cars.
He's about to tell me about the Beamers. He loved the bug-eyed Beamers. I don't know from which decade, but I probably assume the 90s. And then lastly, this one's a throwaway. I should have did toys and then this because neither of us care about this besides Lawrence and that's sports. Which decade had the best sports? Like just events going on, what happened, best athletes, whatever overall. 90s with Jordan and shit, or 2000s with LeBron and stuff, or 2010s
Or
with Steph Curry, and not just basketball. Sorry.
LeBron. I mean, damn LeBron's. Athletes always get better as time goes on.
So what decade had the best sportsmanship? Not like getting along, but
Sportsmanship.
like stuff happening on the court, and it could be football or it could be whatever sports you guys watch. It could even be wrestling. So if we're going wrestling, I'm going 90s off rip. Attitude Era. Shit was raunchy. It was crazy. If we're going basketball, probably still 90s because you had some AI in there. AI was 2003, so 2000s for that. But there wasn't a lot of Jordan in the 2000s, so really tough to pin it.
AI won Rookie of the Year in the 90s.
Yeah, but was he? Okay, so he was doing something. Actually, yeah, I was about to ask, was he really doing something? But if he won Rookie of the Year, clearly he was putting in work. So
Yeah,
that
and
question.
Kobe Bryant was a rookie the same year as Allen Iverson.
But was he good? Like, was it entertaining to watch him, or I think it's more entertaining to watch Kobe towards mid-career, not beginning of his career. But I don't know. Damn, I'm getting jumped. So, which decade for you has the best sports? It's a tough one. See,
It's hard not to say 2010s because it's a weird question. It's hard not to say 2010s though.
Oh, I didn't even pick 2010s because I've been stopped watching them at that point. So yeah, what's happening in the 2010s that make it really fun to watch? Damn, I died that fast.
Just athletes always getting better.
Yeah, but who's really killing it right now? Bron? I haven't
And
heard
what?
about him. In whatever sport you want to say, football. Who's killing it in football? Ain't everybody retired?
Patrick
that I
Mahomes
know?
at quarterback, Christian
don't know him.
McCaffrey at running
don't know
back.
him.
You don't know Patrick Mahomes?
Nope. Keep naming people. See if I know
He
anybody.
just won a Super Bowl.
I thought Gronk won the Super Bowl. Jesus, I don't pay attention to
Gronk
him.
is retired.
He won 2 Super Bowls ago. I'm asking. I don't know. I'm not
Do
telling
you
you. I'm
not
asking.
know that he's retired?
Yeah, he's on wrestling now, but I'm saying I thought he retired after he won. Did he retire after he won the Super Bowl?
Oh yeah, no, he won 2 Super Bowls.
Oh, okay, yeah, because you didn't say anything. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not joking here. I'm actually dead serious. Don't know. Okay, so yeah, that was it for that. So now, before we go into our next segment, this is Sunday Punday with Lawrence.
Oh crap! I don't have a Sunday Punday.
Oh well, I guess next segment it is.
I
So,
forgot about Sunday Punday.
yeah, no, all good. Topic number 3. Should Sony be focusing more on their backwards compatibility for the PS5 or moving forward with the focus on future games and gaming technology? And that means like their game sense, or was it touch sense? It's the DualShock 5. DualSense. What do you want to see more from the PS5? Like what are you trying to see? You trying to see them integrate their complete library as a celebration of PlayStation, or just move forward with your life and just focus on making games feel different in your hand, or whatever else they're gonna bring? They got 3D audio too. It's not just the hand stuff. It's dual sense, so it's touch and sound, I think.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, I would like to have the ability to play all my games, which I'm still gonna have my PS4. But yeah, I'm not sure.
Honestly, I can't really pick because you got games that you always want to play, that are in the past. But if PlayStation doesn't support their library, then you can never play those games again.
I know that's the
So
part that sucks.
it's kind of a toss up. Either better technology, better performance, etc., or you get
Yeah,
to keep
but
all your
like
games.
to counter that, what else more could I need them to do? Because if they come out with a game that's exclusive to PlayStation and the controller gets cold when you're in the snow, that means I can't emulate it on my computer when I years from now when PS5 is old and they be like, yeah, that was dumb as fuck. So like I'm cool with the idea of it, but
You know what
come
we
on.
need? You know what we need? We need to have all the game companies, including VR companies, to work on developing those headsets from SF because that shit was cool as fuck. Terrible anime, no, good idea. Terrible execution, in my opinion. But I want VR like that. But that was completely off topic. I just really want VR to be that immersive in the future.
I think they're working on a VR too, or I don't know what they would call it, the next version of their Sony VR. But I'm just worried that if these games become too immersive, they might tread into the terms of gimmicky because a computer can mostly run every console game, but like I tried to play there's a Vita and then there's this thing called the Vita TV. It was the same thing as the Vita, but you didn't have nothing to touch. You just plugged it into the television. So if you play Uncharted, I don't know, I'm gonna call it Lost Legacy, but it's not that. It's Uncharted something. It was a Vita excuse me my voice, I got something in my throat. There's a Vita exclusive and it had one of those gimmicks on the game where you have to hold up a piece of paper that he gets up to the sun. So you would literally have to hold up your Vita to the sun and I was like, "Oh, that shit is cool as fuck and immersive." But when you play on Vita TV, you can't do it. So it's like a weird little thing to where you can't emulate that same motion controls. You can't emulate the touch thing. So it makes it hard to play certain games when you look back on them. So I don't know if I want future technologies to try to make games that much more immersive or different. I like the idea when I hear Ned talk about, oh, the controller can vibrate differently depending on what you're doing. But then I gotta think long term, like, all right, yeah, no, that sounds cool, but going forward, how are other games going to implement that besides that one game that comes out at launch the first year and then no other game wants to do it? I think about it now. No real game really makes a good use of the touchpad that we have, and the touchpad been out for what, 2013, 7 years.
Only time. I mean, I know there are a lot of games, but the only game that I played that made use of not really the touchpad, but the actual, you know, holding the sense of sensory of the controller was oh fuck, I just had it. I'll get back to you on that. It was fuck.
So what you
Game
think,
was a
Ace?
3
What,
plus
do you
game.
want them to like move forward with technology or celebrate like the past? Like, all right, cool. This is 20 years of PlayStation. I mean, I think 30 at this point. 30 years of PlayStation. You could play every game you ever had.
Don't know.
I mean, besides, I think me personally, I would want better. I think as much as I love all my games that I have, I would want better immersive gameplay.
I need me a
Controversial.
GameCube.
Which one had the weird
That's
controller? No,
what.
N64. N64 had the weirdest controller. Imagine trying to play an N64 game now on an emulation. Is it
I
difficult?
do.
Is it
Not really.
difficult?
No.
What if you're playing it was this one game Pikachu, maybe it was Hey You Pikachu? That game probably hard cuz I think you had to talk to it. You can't talk to it now.
Talk to it. I never tried to play that shit anyway.
Yeah, Hey You Pikachu, I just remember the advertisement was like you could talk to Pikachu and tell it to do your homework. And I tried that shit when my brother got it, and you obviously could not tell it to do your homework. That's a goddamn lie, but it is what it is. They sold me. I was a kid. Come on, you can tap Pikachu do your homework. You could say shit to Pikachu. I don't remember what the extent of what you could say, but yeah, Hey You Pikachu. Look that up on YouTube.
You
That
want to
could
talk to
be.
a freaking Pokemon?
I mean, as a
I
kid,
don't even
you
want to talk to most.
Yeah, but that's because you're an adult. As a kid, you're like, oh man, I'm Ash Ketchum. I'm talking to Pikachu. This is the shit.
Fuck Ash.
Alright, well, I don't have viewer mail for this segment. For the next segment, I got pause. I'm getting shot up. So the last segment is, or the last topic is a random topic that I just put together because I had to find something real fast. Would you rather? Well, first of all, here set the scene. You ever seen the movie Freaky Friday?
I heard it.
Yeah,
Basically, yeah, basically people swap bodies. So the scene is, this is a would you rather question. Your mom and your girlfriend switch bodies like in the movie Freaky Friday. And the twist is you have to have sex with one of them for them to switch back. Do you have sex with your mom's body with your girlfriend in it, or your girlfriend's body with your mom in it?
Oh.
Yeah,
No.
fucked you up with that one.
Wait,
Not
this
really.
is
You have sex with your mom's body.
With your girlfriend in it?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, dude. What are you talking about? You would rather have sex with your
That's
mom?
an easy solution.
It's no easy solution. This is a tough one. When I saw this, I was like, I don't know how I can incorporate this into the podcast. This is a fucking tough ass, dumb ass question.
Dude, if you pick anything else, you're having sex with your mom, dude.
I mean,
You'd
yes, you
rather have
are,
sex with your
but you're
mom.
having sex with your
Yeah.
mom, your
girlfriend's body.
yeah,
You know
exactly.
what? You know what? I'm gonna have to agree with Lawrence. I'd rather have my partner in my mom's body because I don't want to have sex with my mom.
Nobody wants to have sex
Yeah.
with your mom, but either way, you just ended up
Damn,
having sex
nobody
with your
wanna
mom.
have sex with
It's just the
your
body.
No, not not like that.
Damn, bro.
He
He
just
straight killed you.
no, he just made it funnier, but I can't even get past that. He
You could do it with your girlfriend
Did you
or
say
boyfriend
do it?
and your
Yes.
fine. You can fuck.
Oh no!
Sponsorship's gone, bro. Demonetized.
No, but like you can do it, with your girlfriend inside your parents' body because you can just close your eyes, just power through it, It's
Wait,
still
hold
your
on. Which one?
girlfriend.
You said do it with your girlfriend inside your parents, but then you're doing it to your mom's body. You're touching your mom's body.
Well, mom's good. It's still your girlfriend on the inside, and that's what really matters. Although it's gross and disconcerting that your girlfriend's not your mom. So
Yeah, it's a fucked up situation
I mean,
regardless.
unless the only way I can see you winning is one of the situation is if one
You
for some
don't
reason
win
you
in
went to
this
fuck your mom.
situation.
Yeah,
No,
it's a lose-lose.
No, because unless you're one of those creeps that want to, do their mom, that's the only way you could really, what?
Nobody is. Who is one of those creeps?
Falcon.
Not no one here. I'm just saying, like in general. You know how many people there are in the world that are like, yeah, I want to do my mom. Like,
No, probably very few.
yeah, I'm just accounting for those people. Only those people could win in this situation.
Yeah, but there aren't any of those people, so I'm saying. Anybody who wants to have sex with their mom is probably like a crazy like serial killer subconsciously, and he does not want to have sex with his mom regularly, only subconsciously.
In my own
This makes me
neighborhood,
think of Archer, the
I
TV
don't
show.
wanna-
It's kind of weird like that because he wants to. Damn, my voice is so dry. He wants to have sex with his. Well, it's implied some weird shit. Like not necessarily he wants to bang her, but it's like the first episode. The thought of his mom dying gave him an erection. So it's some weird Oedipus shit going on there.
I mean, in my old neighborhood, I don't want to get too deep into it, but
Just in case they watch the show.
no, but there was this whole theory going around in the neighborhood that okay, so it was a husband, wife, son. Everyone thinks that the wife and son killed the father,
Oh,
so that way the son and mom could be together. It was gross as shit.
this is some Tiger King bullshit right here. Some
Yeah.
Oedipus / Tiger King bullshit.
Wait, didn't your dad pass away?
I mean, obviously not. He's not talking about my dad. My dad just called for the podcast. He didn't call from beyond the grave. He's talking about your dad.
Yeah, no, I'm not. No, my dad's alive. I'm talking about like these are people that used to live in my old
He was
neighborhood,
checking to make sure you're not banging your mom.
Don't you know how many people are just like, I want to bang my mom? Now I'm like,
You should clarify that you're not banging your mom for the podcast,
Well,
just in
I
case
mean,
there's
I'm
any
not banging my mom
confusion.
because I'm gay, so
So what if your mom was gay? What's that mean? You could still bang her.
And she likes women.
I just want to see if anybody was dumb listening to the podcast. Like, oh yeah,
Yeah, but
what if
you're
she was
effeminate
gay?
like that one guy Gerard.
That's a inside joke right there. Nobody gets that except for me and you. Oh, Ace, what did you pick? You think you agree with
Crying.
Ace?
Yeah. That's
I mean,
just
I said
very
Ace.
difficult to
I
pick.
literally asked Ace, do you agree with Ace? Which one did you pick?
Oh my. Yeah, no. I just
You gotta pick one.
They had to stay like that, and I'm just gonna break up with you and see someone else.
No. Once you get it over with, they'll change
Nope.
back. But you have to
Nope.
pick one.
They can stay like that forever. I'll just start dating someone else.
On Reddit, there were 5,000 votes. 3,000 people picked Mom's Body with Girlfriend in it. So the majority of people picked Mom's Body with Girlfriend in it. I was one of the people, or I guess is a fucking weirdo. I picked Girlfriend's Body with Mom in it. I just
Yeah, I'm judging you, Moscow. I'm silently judging
Wait,
you.
I don't remember what your mom looks like, but by you just saying it, I have to assume that she's gross.
oh fuck you.
That's so messed up.
But that actually ends the show. I didn't put together lyrics either. So final I forgot what I said at the end. Final topics, final thoughts. Oh, final thoughts. That's what it was.
Just everybody keep your mom away from toxic, and you'll be good.
Yeah, 100%.
Sounds good.
That's it for me.
All right. As always, if you want to hear a topic on the show, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and we'll see you next week. Same black time, same black channel. We out. Yo, somebody's name on here is the Cypher, but it's spelled like with a SCYPHER, and it's the Cypher. So decipher and the Cypher. That's funny.